What up everybody, it's AJ and I'm here still playing Wuchang Fallen Feathers, and I wanted to go over a couple of methods that I've learned throughout my playthrough of how to basically survive in this game. And what I mean by that is that there's really two types of enemy types in this game when it comes to the bosses. You got like the beasts, you got the large enemy types that can be beasts as well, and then you have the humanoids, the people that just are samurais or ninjas or, you know, just like yourself, but they can also be large as well, but they also all have like the same type of fighting style as a humanoid. When it comes to humanoids, there's one certain type of weapon that works pretty well and is pretty easy to use in order to survive, and then when it comes to beasts, there's a weapon that is highly recommended more than the weapon that you use against humans. So what I wanted to do in this video is just show you guys what those two weapons are and what I kind of go for in the skill tree to focus on in order to survive. And so first I want to start off with the weapon that I would use against beasts, which is what I'm using right now. Now this is a specific type of axe. This is a Empyrean axe. The reason why this weapon is so good is because it has a special called the Empyrean Crash. And I don't know if you probably already have seen videos of this weapon, but this weapon is so good when it comes to beasts because it allows you to catch them on fire because its special has a flaming attack, and then you're able to actually dodge enemy attacks as well as crash down and get up close and personal to them and spam the light attacks as fast as possible. So I'm just going to show you guys real quick what this looks like. This weapon also sometimes works against humanoids as it can stun them since it's a heavy weapon, but this is a really good weapon for those big dudes. So what you got to do is like right here, see how far he is? I just press this button and look how close I get. And then I can go into a combo. And they catch on fire. So that is why this weapon is really good. This move alone is what gets you... I'm now about to die. Okay, I died. I was not expecting that guy to show up, but I just wanted to show off the skill anyway. For the skill tree in this, all you really need to focus on is try to just get everything that you can in here and not worry about whirlwind or any of the other disciplines, because your main skill is actually provided by the weapon itself, and it's not something you have to learn. Now, the downside with this weapon is that it uses a lot of stamina, so trying to get as much endurance as possible is a plus. So that's the main skill you want to try to build up so that you have a decent amount of stamina. I would also recommend just equipping the life leech needle as your tempering, because it will give you health back and you're basically able to survive. So that is the weapon that I would be using when it comes to beasts or large enemies like the one that you saw killed me just right there. Just because it does so much damage and it oftentimes gets them stunned pretty quickly. This weapon you get really early on in the game as well. So this is like a really good starter weapon. And then for the humanoids, what I would be using is I would switch to the dual blades and really try to focus on the skill in the dual blade tree called Blade Master, and then swap that discipline out with whatever comes with the weapon. And you get Blade Master up here, right here. It's pretty early on in this tree, but the really good thing about this skill is that it basically makes it so that you can attack faster but also be able to restore some health. So that's the really good thing about this weapon, is that it also applies some health to you, but with a bone needle leech, it gets you more health back. And then you're able to clash like crazy with the dual blades. The dual blades is a really good clashing weapon, and most of the time when you're facing humanoids, they will have a sword themselves and trying to do some pokes or slashes and stuff like that. But if you just keep spamming light attack, you're just clashing with them the whole time, and you're able to basically get health back and pretty much never die if you do it correctly, unless you get screwed over, which happens in this game at times. So basically this skill right here, Blade Master, and then mixed with Deadly Shadow is a really good combination that I would use whenever I'm dealing with humanoids. And basically because every time you did a clash, you get Skyborn Might charge back with you, and then you also deflect most of the incoming damage. You basically become a tank against the humanoids and can just go straight at them with no worries really. And especially if you get like later on in the game, you get some of these spells like Ethereal Form, which basically makes you invisible to any incoming attack for 10 seconds, and you're able to just dodge everything at will. You just become like a really, they can't touch you. It's just super easy to just evade everything and then just go in for try to do as much damage as possible. Now the weapon that I would recommend to use when it comes to using the dual blades is this weapon right here, Twin Bandits. This is another early game weapon that you get, and the reason why I prefer using this one is because it comes with block, and it goes really well with this skill right here called Steel Edge. And what this does, it makes it so that every time you deflect with block, it basically causes them to stagger, and this is really useful against those humanoid types. So basically you're able to use 3 of the major skills in this tree in tandem with each other just to become a dual blade tank that can just eat everything up. And plus you have a lot of stamina because everything in here is agility, focus, and endurance, and you're able to just move around as you please and get up really close and personal and just go and just do a bunch of light heavy attacks and get behind enemies and go with the heavy attack to stun them. It works really well with those type enemies. So yeah, I wanted to make this video here real quick just to show you guys these are the 2 weapons that I have been using during my playthrough and swapping back between the 2 depending on the enemy type or specifically the boss that I'm dealing with, because there's so many different levels of bosses in this game. There's so many different types of bosses and they all have their own weaknesses, and then swapping out the gear to basically neglect whatever they're trying to do to you. And I have been able to manage and survive in this game. There's some pretty tough bosses in this game, but there's also some pretty easy bosses because of this setup. All I gotta say is that these 2 weapons I have found to just be the best ones for my playstyle. I know there's a bunch of different styles of playing this game, especially with like the long sword and the astral blade and all that, the single blade with the magic and all that, but I have just found these 2 just to be my bread and butter when it comes to any type of situation I'm dealing with, and it's been working out pretty well. The longsword is really good though too. It's a really good balanced weapon because you're able to do the counter attack, and if you're going to be sticking with the longsword, I just recommend trying to get everything into the counter attack that it offers, which is in the really early portions of its skill tree. It's right here, sword counter, and then just go into variant 1 and variant 2, and you're able to go in and just do a lot of damage after you get that counter attack off, and then you can go in with like a magic attack afterwards and just try to get them onto the ground. But for my playstyle, I just found going back between the Great Axe as well as the Dual Blades has just been working pretty easily for me and pretty flawlessly, really. I've been able to cruise through this game with no issues. And so yeah, I want to make a video here on the Imperial Great Axe and the Twin Bandit Dual Blades, as those are the 2 weapons I would recommend for those who are having a hard time trying to proceed in this game and just trying to provide some assistance if you guys are looking for some help when it comes to this game. There are a lot of bosses in this game and they all have their unique style of attacking you. Just remember, when it comes to the big dudes, the Imperial Great Axe is really good, and sometimes the Dual Blades are also pretty good against the big dudes if they're really slow, but oftentimes they're always moving around and stuff. The Imperial Great Axe is really good for trying to get close to an enemy who's always moving around. You'll see a lot of those guys in this game, especially like the mages and stuff. I actually uninstalled this game after I faced a mage because I was having a really hard time and I didn't want to have to deal with having to swap the skill tree all the time, but it turned out to not be that bad. I gave it another try like the next day after I cooled down and was able to proceed pretty easily with this exact setup that I have here. Yeah, there you have it. I hope you guys are enjoying this game. I actually find it pretty fun. It's not anything crazy, but it's a good attempt at a Souls-like, and it's been updated, so it's not running that badly on PC as it was before. So they updated the game and it's running pretty smoothly right now. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and hopefully this was helpful in some kind of way. I know I kind of blabbered all around and wasn't really as smooth as it could be, but hey, look at that panda, you know? He doesn't care. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.